on Facebook. And here we go. Let's see who we got here. One second. I'm not very good at this. Where do I see my comments? Oh my gosh. I don't see comments here on Facebook. Is somebody saying hello to me? I am not good at this. This is what happens when Brad is left without a crew. Now people, I see the comments. All right, Jessica Leamy, how are you? And I see Enkaram Resurrect also is present. And Jessica Leamy, she shared the video. Mohammed Jaffer on YouTube, how are you? Carlos Estrella down in Dominican Republic. Layla Smith, Jimmy Gellin, how are you all doing? I don't have any introduction. I don't have any music. I have no crew. All I got is a telephone and a computer and hopefully some knowledge in my brain to help as many people as I can. Jessica Leamy saying she is okay. Angela Barrett, how are you? I'm doing okay too. I have cabin fever. It's just from being inside all day and not getting any fresh air since I'm in quarantine. This is our Brad Show Live quarantine edition because I have not literally left my apartment in 1 week. Why? Because the coronavirus is scaring the hell out of me. I've got to tell you the truth. It's scaring me. Every time I watch the news, it's scaring me. So I don't really want to leave unless I have to. So I have a little corona fever, cabin fever, so to speak. But otherwise, I'm feeling pretty good. We're going to be answering your immigration questions for the next hour or so. We being I, and Dion Reed saying hello. Squad up, Brad Bernstein, and all the squaddies. David Gabriel saying, "Don't worry, we're going to figure it all out." We did. I finally figured out how to see the comments. Yes, I am the crew. I have everything today. Angela Barrett is also good. I hope everybody's feeling good so far. On YouTube, I want to say hello to our squaddies on YouTube as well. Aries Baby saying, "Hey, Brad." And Julia Moniz saying hello. Layla Smith, hello, Brad. Jimmy Gellin saying, "Hey, Uncle Brad, how are you?" Who else we have to say hello to? Vuvu Fuzi saying, "Hey there, Brad." Ja Love. I think Ja Love is down in Jamaica. Drew Berry. Wants to know if I knew the lawyer who was the first one to get sick in New York. That was the lawyer from New Rochelle. No, I did not know him. Although we have a lot in common. We're both lawyers, we're both Jewish, and we're both 51. But other than that, I don't know him, and I understand actually he's doing better now. There is some news, obviously. I'm not going to be Wolf Blitzer and CNN. Everybody sees that the stimulus package is about to be signed by Donald Trump. We'll see how that works out. Here in New York, we're still short a lot of ventilators, according to Governor Cuomo. We're expecting a huge tidal wave of infected people to be in the hospitals. And the biggest concern right now is, will there be enough ventilators for enough people who are sick? It is the ventilator that will keep people alive if they get violently ill from the coronavirus, because the coronavirus attacks your lungs, and it's the ventilator that helps you breathe. I was watching Governor Cuomo earlier, and he said that if worse comes to worse, 2 patients would have to share the same ventilator, which could be a problem because you're sharing the same controls on the ventilator. So sometimes one patient needs more air, sometimes another patient needs less air. It's like when you're in a car and you're driving and you want the car at 72 degrees and the passenger wants it at 76 degrees. You could only have one control. So, hopefully if people do end up sharing ventilators, they kind of figure it out. But, everybody has their own needs in terms of the airflow that goes into their body if they're sick. But I am staying put in my apartment. I have a little terrace. I go on the terrace, I breathe the air, I come back in. There is some immigration updates. USCIS announced flexibility for requests for evidences, notice of intent to deny. So anybody who gets an RFE or notice of intent to deny, USCIS said in response to the coronavirus pandemic that they have adopted a measure to assist applicants and petitioners who are responding to requests for evidence and notices of intent to deny, dated between March 1st and May 1st, 2020. So anybody who has a letter from immigration that is dated between March 1st and May 1st, and it's either they're asking for more evidence or they're saying we're going to deny you unless you give us more evidence, that's the RFE or the notice of intent to deny, you are given an additional 60 days to respond. So for example, if you got a request for further evidence from immigration on March 2nd, and they said you have 30 days to respond, and I guess there's 31 days in March, so your response date would be due April 1st. They're giving you an additional 60 days to respond, and that would be, I guess, May 31st or June 1st. You would have to count the days on the calendar. You know, people are very concerned what they're going to do with work permits that are expiring, visas that are expiring. My best advice would be file the application. If you are concerned about extending your status, file an application. If you are concerned about renewing your work permit, file the application. I can tell you my law office is open. We are working from home. So although we're working from home, we're getting applications in. We're getting applications into the Immigration Service. I did read that some Democrats did push to try to get the DACA program extended in the House stimulus bill, but the Republicans turned it down, and they didn't fight too hard for that. They really needed the stimulus package to pass. One of the questions I'm getting a lot is with these checks that are going to supposedly be mailed out. And people are asking, well, are they going to go to legal residents? What if I'm out of status? Am I going to get a check? Because if you've been following the news, anybody who's filed a tax return who made less than $75,000 is going to get a check for $1,200 in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then they're going to keep sending several checks a month or two after. Nobody really knows for sure when these checks will come. We're just basically seeing what's in the newspapers right now. And then if you're married, you'll get 2 checks, one for you, one for your spouse, $2,400. And then if you have 3 kids, each kid gets $500 in your name. And people are asking, well, is that only for American citizens? How are they going to determine? I don't know the answer to any of this, but I'll give you Brad's opinion, because I've been getting at least 15 or 20 questions on my Instagram about that, which is, by the way, the best way to get in contact with me if you need to reach me is you follow me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein and drop me a DM. I'm happy to respond if I can. And I've been getting a lot of those questions. And the answer is I don't know the answer, because I know as much as everybody else does from reading the newspapers. But what I do know, I should change this a little bit. We're better now. What I do know is that they're going to base it on your tax returns. So in other words, if you filed a tax return in 2018, you haven't filed a tax return in 2019, and your income was less than $75,000, you're getting a check. If your income was less than $99,000, you're getting something less than $1,200. You're not getting the full $1,200. They start deducting. If you filed a joint tax return and both you and your spouse were jointly under $150,000, you're going to get $2,400. If you filed head of household, I think it's about $112,000 plus an extra $500 for each kid. And the $1 million question, or the $2 trillion question, is, what if you're a legal resident? What if you're just here on a work visa? What if you're out of status and you've just been filing tax returns because you have a social security number, or you've just been filing tax returns with a tax ID number? I think if you've been filing tax returns with the social security number, I don't know any way that the IRS, which is going to issue these checks, are going to come from the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. I don't know any way that they can ever figure out who's a U.S. citizen, who's a resident, who's in status, who's out of status, who's on a work visa, who's overstayed their visa. My guess is, and it's just my guess, I don't know for sure, I'm not 100% certain, but my guess is that if you filed a tax return in 2018 and you have it and you filed it with a social security number, you're going to get a check if your income was under 75,000. I don't know, because there's nothing on a tax return that shows whether you're an American, whether you're a resident, or anything else. So I think they're just going to start sending checks out to everybody. But that's my opinion. We'll see what happens. Let's see what else is happening here before we get into our questions. There was a judge who ordered the release of 10 immigration detainees from New Jersey. Those were elderly. Apparently, they were elderly, or they had some sort of underlying medical condition that their release was based on humanitarian grounds, because if they got coronavirus, they would get killed. The group was held in New Jersey county jails, and they were facing deportation proceedings in Manhattan, and it appears to be the largest in the nation subject to a court-ordered release since the corona pandemic broke out. Now, it was Judge Ancelia Torres. She said that the immigrants were entitled to a temporary restraining order because of the danger to their health posed by being in county jails that many experts consider a breeding ground for the virus. In her order, Torres said, also sharply criticized ICE officials for inadequate preparation for the outbreak and a lack of safeguards to the most vulnerable detainees. There was also a first immigrant in ICE detention on Tuesday, tested positive for coronavirus. And that's going to be a huge problem for people who are in detention and people who are in jail. The crowding in the jails and the interaction in the jails everyone's in very close quarters. And I'm very concerned for people who are there, especially, you're an immigrant, you didn't do anything wrong, you didn't commit a crime, and they're just detaining you for deportation. So I'm very concerned about what's going to happen there. And finally, before we get into our immigration questions, as of March 21st, ICE has said that their priorities have shifted. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement says it's going to continue its routine enforcement operations through March 18th. That was about 10 days ago. Following widespread criticism for still arresting unauthorized immigrants who didn't have a criminal record, and because of the coronavirus, they are only now following up on what they call dangerous criminals. So I don't believe that that if you're just an out of status immigrant, that you are going to be subject to getting arrested at this moment. I can also tell you that the immigration courts are closed. USCIS is closed at least for another 2 weeks, but that doesn't mean they're not accepting your applications, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't put in your application. And the reason is this. This is a perfect time to actually put in your application, because we know that right now there's not a lot of people putting in their applications. And once this is over, we know lots and lots of people are going to be putting in their applications. So get in before everybody else gets in. I do want to say hello to Dion Reed, saying squat up Brad Bernstein and all the squatties. And if you have immigration questions, now is a good time to leave those questions in the comment section. I'm going to try to help as many people as I can while we do our pandemic edition of Bradshaw Live, which is me being the host, the person who asks the question, the person who everybody's watching, plus the crew in the background. I'm doing everything right here from my apartment. There it is. That's the TV. I watch CNN every night. Let's see who else we got here. Angela Barrett saying hello. David Gabriel is in Georgia. Safer in Georgia right now than it is here in New York City. Christy Kinsali saying squat up, everybody. Nicole Rogers, squat up. Kevin Adrian De Silva saying good day, sir. Good to see you up and well. I am very well. I am up. Everything is good. I'm just waiting for this craziness to be over. It's been a crazy, crazy decade. I was just telling Jilly Bean the other day, this is like the worst decade so far. Don't you guys think? I mean, in 3 months, In 3 months, since this decade started, in 3 months, we had global fires in Australia that wiped out 1 billion animals, and based on climate change. We almost had World War III with Iran, and now we have a killer virus going around the world, all within the first 3 months of our decade. Now, for those who were watching our show, Yo-Yo and I think right around the beginning of the new year, we had a bit of a disagreement on when the decade was going to start, because Yo-Yo had said that the farmers from the Farmer's Almanac says this is actually the last year of the prior decade. The new decade starts in 2021, according to the Farmer's Almanac. And we had a discussion about that. And it was very funny because Yo-Yo sent me a text message. I don't know if he's in the comment section, if he's watching right now, but he sent me a text message, Yo-Yo, yesterday. He goes, I told you, the farmers were right. The new decade starts next year. This is not the start of a new decade. So I kind of agree with Yo-Yo there as well. Let me say hello to Nina God Pickney, Abigail Taylor Watson. How are you? Arlen Thacker. She says, I have an immigration data for April 25th. What should I do? Prepare. I assume it's an immigration interview, what you're saying, Arlen Thacker. And my answer is prepare to go. This changes on a week by week, week by week, hour. I'm saying month by month, week by week, and hour by hour. The world is changing. I don't know what's going to be on April 25th. That's almost 3.5 weeks from now. My advice to you is you prepare to go on your interview. And if it gets postponed, then we'll deal with it. But right now, that is way too far away to do anything other than assume you're going to be going on that interview, and you prepare accordingly. Mode Tubashot said, can you explain to us about the new visa category for doctors and nurses? I'm not aware of a new visa category for doctors and nurses. If you can give me a little more information about that, maybe what they're doing for doctors and nurses is some special immigration rules that I have not seen yet, but I don't know of any new category for doctors and nurses. Natasha saying, hi, Brad, nice seeing you back. Anything new on VAWA? They're processing VAWA. If you are an abused spouse, either physical abuse or extreme emotional abuse, get your application in. There's no reason in the world, not a reason in the world, to wait to file because of coronavirus. We all know this will ultimately end. We all know that immigration will ultimately, you'll have to deal with them. And we all know that the longer you wait to deal with them, the longer you're going to take to get immigration benefits. And especially now that, the masses of people are saying, wait. And I'm saying, don't wait, file, because you're going to get in before everybody else. Genesley Mart Fontanilla says, how about a family of two making about 120? I don't know what you're asking. You got to be a little more specific. Tanette So Bless Robinson saying, hey, Brad, squat up and be safe. Thank you very much. Noreen V saying, I'm the best lawyer. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sydney Bursick, also known as Pizza, squat up. She's watching. Elvis is in the house. He wants to know if unemployment benefit is a public charge. Elvis Kojo Essiem, it is not a public charge. There is no income requirements to obtain unemployment. It's not a need based on your income. It's based on the fact that you got laid off. So unemployment is not a public charge provision. Mark Mahabar says, Uncle Brad, I have a question. How long does it take for USCIS to make a decision after filing a motion to reopen after getting denied for a green card? A long, long time. Actually, if you've been watching my show for any period of time, you have probably heard me say multiple times, in my opinion, it's always faster and easier to refile again than do a motion to reopen. When you're doing a motion to reopen, it's not even an appeal. It's an appeal. It is an appeal, but it's an appeal back to the same person who just denied you. It doesn't go to a higher authority. It goes back to the same person who denied you. And you're saying you made a mistake. And I don't know many people who are in government who will say, yeah, I made a mistake. You're right. I'm going to reopen your case. So I think, and it takes a very long time, that it's the least priority. And when you file a motion to reopen, you're not in any legal status. You don't get a work permit or anything like that. So my always advice is withdraw the motions to reopen and just refile again. I mean, I would like to speak to you personally about your case because maybe you have a specific issue that your motion to reopen is the proper thing to do. But generally, I'm against motions to reopen. I think it's easier just to refile again and suck it up. Can a pending I-485 adjustment of status claim for unemployment? The answer is no. You have to be a lawful permanent resident. David Gabriel said he's planting veggies. I don't know where, but that's very nice. I would like to learn to garden one day too. I'm a city dweller, so I don't garden, but that would be a nice thing to do. Marcy Walatka saying, God bless you, Brad. God bless you as well. Latina Sani saying, hi, Uncle Brad. Will the stimulus check hurt? Will the stimulus check hurt under the new public charge? And the answer is absolutely not. I want to go to our friends on YouTube and see what they're saying as well. We're going to come back to Facebook in a little bit. Muhammad Jaffer saying, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Tia Prasad saying, hey, Uncle Brad, good evening. Lady June, hi, Uncle Brad, hang in there. I'm trying my best. Everyone needs to hang in there. And I'll be honest with you. You know, there's not many people in the world right now who are walking around singing zippity doo dah. I would say never in the history of the earth. Maybe during World War I and World War II. I guess that would be the last time. So I don't want to say ever in the history. But certainly, in my lifetime, never have I seen the entire world unhappy. And by the way, it just came across the news feed right now that President Trump has signed the stimulus bill into law. Nobody really knows what's going to be in it, other than we know that people who make under $75,000 are going to get checks. So we'll see how it all works out. The experts who are going to read the fine print on what this stimulus is, they're going to let us know over the weekend, and I will let you know on Monday what is in it for everybody. Drew Berry, I already asked that. She wanted to know if I knew the lawyer. I already asked that. No Musoko. Hey, Brad. This is all on YouTube, by the way. Hey, Brad. I was a lawful permanent resident with an IR2 visa. I followed you live and found out that I was a U.S. citizen. And I applied for my passport, and I got it. What's the next step? Should I send my green card back? No, you don't have to send your green card back. You can just kind of rip it up if you want. The only other thing I would do if you got your U.S. passport is I would file an N-600 application for a certificate of citizenship. And congratulations. And I assume you figured out you were a citizen from watching my show. So I'm glad you learned something. Lady June says, my friend, this is also on YouTube. My friend who is a U.S. citizen has a pending adjustment of status for his wife. He got temporarily laid off from his job due to COVID-19, and he applied for unemployment benefits. How will this affect their case? It doesn't affect for public charge, but if the money that he gets from unemployment, although according to Senator Schumer, there's going to be unemployment, on steroids, but if the money he gets from unemployment is not sufficient to bring you 125% above the poverty level, and he doesn't get a new job by the time you get your interview, it could be a problem, but it doesn't affect public charge. Collecting the act of collecting unemployment doesn't affect public charge. I assume that for, by the summer, as the coronavirus kind of levels off and government's able to deal with it better, and maybe even hopefully we have some valid treatments for it, that the economy will heat up again and your husband will get a job. And Drew Berry wants to know, will green card holders get the stimulus money too? My presumption is absolutely yes. My big question is What about people who are on work visas or people who are out of status and just filing their tax returns? I think they may get stimulus money too, because there's no way that the IRS is going to figure out who's legal and who's not. Julia Moniz, I have a question. I'm doing an I-90. What do they look at to approve the renewal? Health. The only thing they're looking at is make sure you don't have a criminal record. After that, you'll get it approved. Ja Love says, I'm not in Jamaica, Brad. Someone's using somebody. Oh my God, somebody's impersonating Ja Love. Somebody is impersonating Ja Love. What's going on here, Ja Love? I had somebody impersonate me once too. You should take it as a compliment. I would. I took it as a compliment. Simone Garraway say, because they want to be you. Voo 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 says, I'm a domestic violence victim. Will my application for a green card be successful? I'm here on a visitor's visa. If I had the magic 8-ball, I would tell you. I don't know whether or not your application for a green card would be successful, but if in fact you are the victim of domestic violence and you were married to a citizen or a resident and it was a bona fide marriage, it should be approved. Adkar Khan, hi Brad, what's up? Hope you and your team are okay. My praise for you. And my question, I'm applying for citizenship and I have a daughter who will be 18 in 3 months. If I put her on my application, will her age freeze? No, you have to become a citizen before and swear in, like I swear allegiance to America before your daughter turns 18. So she's not going to become a citizen, unfortunately. Ciao Bella wants to know, can I receive public assistance for my U.S. citizen kids without fear of public charge? I'm also married to a U.S. citizen. The answer is yes, you can. For your children, yes. For you, no. Back it up, Ricky, saying good evening, everybody. How are you? Layla Smith. If a joint sponsor lost her job due to the pandemic, I don't know when he will be back. The I-864 is already sent to the National Visa Center. What should I do at the day of the interview if the joint sponsor is still out of a job? Then you would have to find a new joint sponsor who has a job and substitute that joint sponsor in. But this thing changes with this pandemic on a day-by-day, week-by-week basis. So you may be out of a job today. You may have a job tomorrow. You know, let's all stay calm a little bit. I think the economy is going to really rebound in the next few months after they get this under control. Edward Sanchez, do you check yes or no? I don't know what your question was. To check what? Edward Sanchez says, we got 20 people watching your show. Thank you very much, Edward Sanchez. I appreciate it. Sarvin Kumar Reddy. Hi, Brad. I'm trying to reach you for 15 days. You're trying to reach me? Let me tell you all the different ways you can reach me. You can reach me on Instagram. Follow me at Real Brad Bernstein and drop me a DM. And like some of my pictures too. It's a nice thing to do. You can call my office. My office is open every day. 1-800-529-5465. If you're not my client, you can schedule a consultation. Happy to meet with you. Happy to talk to you. We talk to you over the phone right now because this is pandemic season. Arlene Nixon. Hi, Brad. I have a 10-year green card. I want to file for my son who is 28 and has DACA. Do I have to file a waiver to prevent him from going back to Jamaica? At this point, yes, unless he's 245I. But you're going to file the I-130 because this is going to be 4 or 5 year process, and who knows what the law will be 4 or 5 years from now. Let me go back to Facebook and see what's going on Facebook. Jilly Gould saying, happy Friday, Brad Squad. Jessica Kalimi wants to, would like to cancel my 90-day free subscription. Would like to cancel my 90-day free subscription to 2020. What's the number to call? Very funny. It's called 1-800-GOD. Naked Wire says, hi, sir. My wife starts her citizenship in April 15th. Is it safe to file an I-130 or wait till she becomes a citizen? File the I-130. It's very safe. Actually, safer now to file than ever before. Nobody's coming to look for you. I promise you. It's Corona season. Nobody's coming to look for you. Damian Brown on Facebook wants to know if my kids got 3 social security numbers. If my kids got their social security number, I'm like, wow, how'd your kid get 3 social security numbers? What's going on here? No, if my kid got their social security number in 2020. I never filed taxes ever for them. Am I eligible for the stimulus package? If you're only eligible for the stimulus package if you filed a tax return. So if you didn't file a tax return, you're not getting anything. If you didn't include your kids on the tax return for 2018, but you filed a tax return in 2018, file the tax return in 2019, include your kids, and then you'll get the additional stimulus because they're going to base it on the 2019 filing, if it's done before April 15th, or the 2018 filing. Harjinder Singh, after adjustment of status approved in immigration court, I applied for a green card at USCIS office. How much time they can take to issue a green card? It's already been 4 weeks. Well, it's about 12, 16 weeks before they actually give it. They're very slow. But now I didn't expect longer because of coronavirus season. Karen Saunders is watching down south. How are you, Karen? Celia Scott saying hi, Brad. Kofi Yankson says, hello, Brad. I have a question for, this is a long one, Kofi. Wow, you really want me to strain my eyes on this one. Kofi wants to know, I have a question for my friend. My friend and her U.S. citizen spouse attended a Stokes interview. During the interview, the officer asked them, how did they go to the wedding center? And one of them said they went by car, and one said they took a train. So after the interview, the officer brought them together and asked them to explain, how did somebody go by a car and somebody go by a train? And his USA citizen spouse told the officer that his husband said he will go to the wedding center with his family and friends separate because that is how they do it in Africa, and that is why they go there separate. Please, Brad, will this be a problem? No, as long as everything is explainable. That's perfectly fine. Nobody says you have to go and travel to the wedding center with your spouse. As a matter of fact, I'm divorced now. Okay, I'm divorced now. But when I got married back in the 90s, my ex-wife, we lived together when we were engaged. My ex-wife slept back at her parents' home the night before our wedding, and I did not see her again. She made it to the wedding ceremony, I guess, with her parents. I don't even know how she got there. But I did not see her again until she walked down the aisle in a white dress. So it happens. It happened to me, and we were both born in America. Janesli Marte Fontanilla says, can an I-45 pending adjustment of status can claim unemployment? The answer is no. I answered that already. My son, Kim Osborne, wants to know, my son just turned 18 and wants to file a petition for his father who is living in the United States undocumented. You cannot file for your father at 18. You have to be 21. So when you're 21, then we can talk about it. Myola from Spar and Bernstein is watching. I hope she's feeling better. Ali Boo Beecher, my husband is adjusting my son's status. Who signs the I-765 application? If your son's old enough, he should be able to sign it if he's over 14. Lanny J, hi, we filed in July 2019. I'm still waiting on NOAA 2. I don't know what NOAA 2 is. The petitioner lives with his mother. Only those are the two in the house. No dependents. They both work. He made $21,000 in 2019 taxes. Mother made $30,000. They both have health insurance through their jobs. They both have never used government benefits. Will there be any problems at the National Visa Center? Yes, maybe, perhaps. I don't know. We need to know a lot more. Gustavo, is a mandamus a bad idea right now? I would think so. Let's wait for the coronavirus thing to go over. There's no federal judge who's going to mandate immigration to do anything at this point. Stacey Ann, can filing for unemployment or receiving any of the stimulus checks be used against pending adjustment of status in the future? The answer is no, they cannot. Brayor, hi, sir. Will filing for unemployment disqualify me for bringing my wife from overseas? No. Kim Osborne, I don't know what this is referring to. He originally was without inspection, was also apprehended at the border in 2008 and was given a 10-year bar. That sounds pretty bad to me, Kim. Sounds like that person needs a consultation, but I don't know what the rest of the story was. Michael DeFrance, my I-45 interview was canceled less than 24 hours before time by phone. Shaking my head. Well, if it was done because of coronavirus, there's nothing you can do about it. Everybody's shaking their head about coronavirus. Let me go back to our friends on YouTube. Amanda Ariato. Hey, Brad, my apartment lease is in 2 months. I'm waiting for the notice and interview. Will my case be delayed if I move? Should I stay and extend the lease? If you can stay and extend the lease, that would be the smartest thing, because I don't want you to move and then not get the new notice from wherever you move. And if you move out of the jurisdiction of the immigration service where you happen to be right now, then yes, it will absolutely be delayed. Let's see. I lost my place here. A lot of people. Julia Moniz. I'm applying for renewal of a green card. What information will they research to reaffirm my eligibility? Just to make sure that you didn't overstay your time outside of the United States. You were in the U.S. more than somewhere else, plus you don't have a criminal record. Naveen Verma says, hi, Brad. It was a pleasure speaking to you over the phone today. Thank you for your valuable advice. Stay blessed. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Tally is in the house. 29 Super C also in the house. Sandy saying, hi, Uncle Brad. Will a stimulus check hurt under the new public charge? I've answered that a lot. The answer is no. AP says, hi, Mr. Brad. Hope all is well. I recently got my conditional green card, but my spouse has been extremely verbally abusive and threatens me all the time. He has now abandoned me. Need advice and help. If you got your conditional green card and you can prove it was a bona fide marriage, you say hell with that spouse who's abusing you. You get a divorce and you can prove it was a real marriage and you're divorced. It's the easiest thing to do, and you get your permanent green card. Nobody says you have to stay in an unhappy or abusive marriage. Give me a call and I'll be happy to help you. Miles 7 saying, hi, Brad. Please, after attending a Stokes interview, the officer said he cannot make a decision now. He will talk to his supervisor if there will be a need for them to do an investigation. That sounds like they didn't believe it was a real marriage. So it sounds like they're going to investigate. And when they come, you and your spouse better be living in that house. Lynn James. Hey, Brad, how are you? I had an appointment for biometrics for the I-751 March 24th. USCIS is closed. Do I have to call them for an appointment? No, you'll just wait for them. They'll reschedule. Don't worry. Hagarit. Oh, boy. Hergo Jebrisis says, hi, Brad. I hope you and your family are safe. Does a permanent resident has to file Form I-864 affidavit of support with the Form I-130 for his spouse? If you're filing an adjustment application in the U.S., yes, you need to file the I-864. If it's just an I-130 and your spouse is in another country, the I-864 is at the end. All you have to do is file the I-130. Sandy Sane says, thanks, Uncle Brad. You've already answered my question. Be safe. I appreciate that. Thank you. Lady Aaliyah saying, squad up my people. Edward Sanchez, Uncle Brad, you do get a check from, he didn't finish it. Cindy Albert, 144 people watching, only 23 likes. That's not good. Yeah, what's up with that? What's up with that, YouTube? 167 people watching, only 36 people want to give me a thumbs up? Come on, YouTube. Coronavirus time. Give me a thumbs up at least. I'm doing this from my house. Cristino Fan Vivo. I'm filing for my mom. Do I have to take a DNA test? Only if they don't believe that she's your mom. You may. Tanisha Thomas. Hey, Brad, is the national... There you go, YouTube. 59 thumbs up. There you go. Way to go. All right, YouTube. We'll keep you on. I was about to shut YouTube off, and I wasn't going to shut you off. Luciano Celestino. USCIS is sending me a courtesy letter for medical examination. Can I show the medical examination? Yeah, you bring the medical examination to the interview. Tenzing Sherpa. You know, it's very funny because Edward Sanchez says he has 20 people watching my show. And I don't know if it's 20 people who are sitting around one computer watching the show, because I never believe the numbers anyway. I think a lot more people watch than YouTube and Facebook tell me. But then it even makes me even believe more, because maybe if there's 20 people watching one computer, which is possible. Tenzing Sherpa. Hey, Brad, I got an RFE for adjustment of status and sent it back after a week. It was in March. I applied in December. So how will they work on it? Well, they'll work on it when they come back, and first come, first serve, and they'll be back in a week or two, supposedly. Layla Smith. If a joint sponsor lost his job due to the pandemic, I don't know when he will be back. I don't know when he will be back. The I-864 is already sent to the National Visa Center. What should I do at the day of the interview if the joint sponsor still has a job? I think I answered that. You have to get a new joint sponsor. Purple Queen. Good evening, Brad. My I-360 is approved in January 2020. How do I have to wait for my interview? Well, if you've already filed an adjustment application, your interview hopefully will be in about another 6 months or so. Anthony Brown. Hi, Brad. I did an advance optional on my J1 2-year stay. I have not heard back from the Department of State. My case is pending on the J1 waiver website. Yeah, you can't do anything with getting a green card or adjusting until your waiver is approved. I'm not sure what else is going on with your case, so you would have to call me. And our telephone number is 1-800-529-5465. I forgot to announce that. I should announce that more. 1-800-529-5465. You can call us and we'll set up a consultation for you to speak with me. Keisha Ford. Hey, Brad, my husband and I got married in September 2019. Should we get married filing jointly? Yes, for 2019, you should file a tax return filing jointly. No, file jointly. If you got married in 2019, file a joint tax return, and you should do it immediately because then you'll get a double stimulus. Lady Leah, if after, well, I just lost Lady Leah. What happened to Lady Leah? What happened to Lady Leah's question? Lady Leah, where are you, Lady Leah? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, the technology. All right, we'll find Lady Leah again eventually. Or Lady Leah, you can ask that question again. Let's see, Mandy Putros. I asked that question. Diva Tay 23. Hi, Brad. I filed a VAWA for myself. My 11-year-old son was added to my form. Another form was also completed for him. My I-360 was approved, but I just got a denial letter for my son. I don't know what you're talking about. If you filed an adjustment for your son separately, I don't know how old your son is, where your son is, or anything else. You need to give us more information, but more importantly, probably just call my office and have a consultation with me. Generally speaking, children under 21 should be included on the VAWA case. So I'm not sure why your son got denied. Java Goa says, Uncle, please answer my question. I will touch your feet. I don't need you to touch my feet. I'm not a foot person. I don't have a foot fetish, but I'm happy to answer your question if I see it, Java. Tali, YouTube, let's show some thumbs for Uncle Brad and family. Thank you very much, Tally. Cindy Albert, let us not thumbs up on the chat, but on the tiny little gray icon. Exactly, Cindy Albert. Exactly. Armando Aratia says, hey, Brad, a month ago, my I-485 case was transferred to another office. They were supposed to send me a notice explaining the reason, but I never got it. Should I worry? What has happened to the case delay? My case was transferred to another office. I don't think you have to worry that if your case was transferred to another office. All the notice would have said was, guess what? Your case was transferred to another office. What you need to be worried about is, and there's nothing to worry about. They transfer cases all the time just for workload. So don't worry that you didn't get the notice for the case transfer. Be concerned if you get an interview and you don't get the notice, or get an RFE and you don't get the notice. But if you don't get the notice for the transfer, it's not a big deal. Mr. A. Shaker, do we need to bring evidence of an affidavit of support to an interview, or that has already been approved? You may need to be updated evidence for an affidavit of support. Absolutely. On Facebook, let's go back to Facebook. Venice Angelina Gale. Hello, Mr. Brad. Is there anything there to request my son to come to be with me? He is in his 30s. It's called an I-130 visa petition. If you're legal, you file for him and you have to wait on the waiting list like everybody else. Gold Manure says, this show has me feeling like an immigration lawyer. Yep. You know what? This show has me feeling like an immigration lawyer too, but I actually am. Week in St. Louis, the best lawyer, Brad, by the way. They canceled my interview. When do you expect they're going to reschedule? When is this coronavirus going to be over? I don't know. Nobody knows yet. Jones Boss Tevin, be safe out there, Brad. Quick question. My girlfriend used to get food stamps for 6 months around a year ago, and she advised me that it was not much at all. Do you still recommend us getting married? Yes, but you're going to have a problem with the affidavit of support, but we can work around it. Go get married. You love her. Go get married and get your green card. Tammy T, and the reason you walk around it is getting food stamps a year or two ago for a short period of time is a bad negative for you, but we can counter that with good positives. Tammy T, hello, please. I have a question. I filed for my husband through asylum, but I am confused what President Trump said that he will ban visas from Nigeria. There's nothing to be confused about. Mr. Trump is not a very nice man to Nigerians. He said anybody who applies for a green card in Nigeria is not getting it until the ban is over. David Gabriel, how much does it cost to file the N-600? Go to USCIS.gov. Go to filing fees. It'll say. I forgot the amount. I can't look it up right now because I'm doing everything. Tintin. Hi, Brad. Thank you for all that you and the team do. I filed for an... All right. You want me, David Gabriel? I'll do it then. All right. He made me feel bad. You didn't make me feel bad. I felt bad myself. I'll look it up. I'll look it up for you while I do this show. It's so simple to do. You go to Tools and Forms and Fees, and we go down and find the N-600, and the N-600 is $1,170. That's what it is. $1,170, David Gabriel. Tintin. Hi, Brad. Thank you for all that you and the team do. I filed the I-130 petition last year in October for my wife. I'm a green card holder. It's going to take longer now that we have a COVID problem. I would guess so. Kamini Rupnarine, it is not $680. That was the old fee for the N-400, actually. CG Francois. Hi, Brad. I got my green card in 2016. I got arrested for domestic violence in 2017. That's not good. My case was dropped. That's good. I recently applied for citizenship. Are they going to deny me? Well, you got to prove good moral character. I'm glad the case was dropped, because if it wasn't dropped, you'd get deported for domestic violence. But even getting arrested for domestic violence, you got to prove good moral character for 5 years. But you're allowed one bad night. Doesn't make you a bad person. So hopefully you shouldn't have a problem. If you have a good lawyer, you shouldn't have a problem if that's your only arrest ever. Damtoon Mustafa. Hey, Brad, if you're working using your ITIN and you haven't filed taxes before, how does that affect you during the interview? If you work using your ITIN, you file your tax returns. That's how it affects you. Go file back tax returns. You could always speak to Carmela in my office. She's fantastic at filing tax returns. She's a tax attorney. And a lot of times she wipes away your tax debt. So she can turn a huge tax debt into peanuts. So I would definitely call Carmela in my office at 1-800-529-5465. Janesli Marte Fontanilla, can a working permit holder claim for unemployment? No. You have to be a lawful resident or a citizen. Sherry Chung, good evening. Why is my nephew's I-130 was transferred to another field office? Beats me, usually just to transfer case workload. Don't look too much into it. When they transfer from office to office, you don't look too much into it. It is what it is, but don't look too much into it. Junior West saying, hey, how are you? I've been better. Not the best decade. As Jessica Kalimi says, I want my money back from this decade so far. Kamini Rupnarine, hi. How long can a child with a green card stay out of America? Less than 6 months. Honorable Abadun Ogundimu. My 10-year green card is going to overstay 6 months in Nigeria. I can't get a flight back to USA. What will happen? Go to the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria and apply for a SB visa to come back, and you should be okay. I think it'll be. It shouldn't be a problem because of the situation, as long as you can show that you tried to come back. Sure, but I would go to the embassy and get something to come back and explain to them the situation. Sherry Chung. People who collect Social Security benefits, are they going to get a check? I believe so. Trifina Anderson. If your base pay is $75,000, but you earn over $100,000 based on overtime, are you entitled to a check? No, you're not. Bernadette Mamone Dagdag. Hi, Brad. I hope you are doing fine. Can I apply for unemployment if I'm still waiting for my green card immigration interview? No, you cannot apply for unemployment on a work permit. Danielle Jobby, I'm a U.S. citizen. Can I invite my wife to the U.S. with 1-year-old son? She has no immigration application. You can do whatever you want. They're not going to give her a visa to come to the United States now. Your best thing to do is file the I-130 and do it immediately. Tommy T, please read my question. If I see it, I'll be happy to read it. Gary James, is it okay to get husky? Will there be a public charge? Is it okay to be husky? I guess husky is, I'm not sure what husky is. The only thing I remember husky is that's brings back childhood memories. I don't need to talk about husky right now. Maybe another day. Darby, do you get a receipt number after you file a motion to reopen and reconsider? It depends. It depends. If you file it with the local office, no. If you file it with the service center, you should. Nicolay Osborne, it's been 3 years that I have a green card with VAWA, but I'm divorced and he's a citizen. Can I apply for citizenship? The answer is yes. Stacey Ann says, thank you for answering my question. She's put at ease. Tanya Bray de Paris. Hi, Brad. I checked my daughter's status online and states that her I-130 was approved. What's the next step? I don't know, Tanya. I don't know who, I don't know if you're a citizen, you're a resident, if she's over 21, under 21. I need to know a little more information. Hello, Jeff Bosey is watching. First Lady Leah, if your EAD expired and renewal is pending, what will make you out of status or just delaying getting state's driver's license? You're not out of status if your EAD expired, as long as you have a pending adjustment. You just don't have, if you file your work permit extension, you're approved to work for an extra 180 days. So hopefully your work permit is approved within that 180-day extension. Gunnery Hutch. Hey, super lawyer, thanks for what you are doing. We greatly appreciate it. Just a question, are green card holders going to get the stimulus package? The answer is yes. Bernadette Mamon Dadag wants to say thank you for answering the question. And Amadou Diallo says, just wondering, if someone got a green card for marriage and is still married, is the presence of the spouse necessary for the citizenship interview? The answer is no, absolutely not. On YouTube, Armando Ariata says, hey, Brad, one last question. Do you foresee any fundamental changes to the interviewing process for green cards in the near future, such as over the phone or online, or dropping them altogether? Anything is possible. We don't know what's going to happen. Everything changes on a day-by-day basis. I don't think it'll be done over the phone. I don't think they're going to drop the interviews. I don't know. Maybe they'll be doing it in a bubble for all I know. I don't know. Hi, can I continue to work if I'm on a J1 teacher visa while my spouse is filing for me? The answer is yes. I mean, I don't know if you need a visa waiver, and that is Amari Brown. But even if you need a visa waiver and you're working, as long as you're working, your spouse is a citizen, the fact that you worked out of status is not a reason to deny you. Tanisha Thomas wants to know, is the National Visa Center still working on cases? The answer, as far as I know, yes. Karav Kwao says, hi, Brad, can I extend my J1? There are no rules or regulations for any extensions on non-immigrant visas at this moment, unfortunately. No guidance has come out with that. Now, with all that being said, I am now approximately almost an hour into our show. I will see if I can answer one or two more questions. Tamika Nelson, Uncle Brad looking fresh. Well, I've been home. Cece Francois, say, hi, Brad. I got my green card in 2016, and then I got arrested in 2017 for domestic violence, and my case was dropped. I answered that question. Go back and review this video when we're done. But the answer is you're allowed one bad day. You just have to prove good moral character. Paudora Naji, how long does the I-45 take if you did your fingerprint and my dad is a green card holder? I don't know at this point because of the coronavirus, but generally it's taking about 12 months. All right, Tafuk Dabi has asked the question 10 times. I better answer it. Hi, Brad. I'm a U.S. citizen, and this is on YouTube. My wife has a green card. If I apply for food stamps, SNAP, will this affect my wife when she tries to apply for citizenship? The answer is no, it will not. All right. And with that, folks, I do have to say goodbye at the moment. And we will be back on Monday. Brad Bernstein, will be back on Monday to answer more immigration questions sometime around this time. Thank you all for watching. But before I leave, I do have to remind everybody that my office is open. We are helping people every day. We're filing applications every day. So you can absolutely call my office at 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. I'm sorry if I didn't get to answer your question, but come back on Monday and drop it in the comments. I'll try to answer it. You could also drop me a DM on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein. I'll try to answer it there as well. Thank you all for watching. Please be safe. Please stay home. Stay at least 6 feet away from everybody. Wash your hands a lot, but really respect, being away from other people. Respect not being close to people. And the more we do that, the quicker we'll get through this. Have a safe weekend, and I wish everybody well, and I hope everybody is safe and secure and healthy, most importantly. And I'll see you all on Monday. Thanks.